The ballroom shimmered with crystal chandeliers, golden candles, and a towering white birthday cake that stood untouched in the center of the room. Every chair had been perfectly arranged. Every glass sparkled beneath the soft lights. Every detail had been planned for weeks. Yet, as the clock struck 7, the only sound echoing through the luxurious hall was the quiet ticking of a wall clock and the gentle hum of the city outside the floor-to-ceiling windows. Sitting alone in a wheelchair, wearing an elegant white dress, was Isabella Carter, one of the richest CEOs in the country. It was her birthday, but not a single guest had come. The silence hurt more than the accident that had taken away the use of her legs. In that heartbreaking moment, Isabella realized that success could buy almost everything except genuine love. Before we continue this emotional journey, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories that remind us what truly matters in life. Only 3 years earlier, Isabella had been unstoppable. She had built one of the nation's largest technology companies from a tiny office with nothing but determination and endless sleepless nights. Newspapers called her the Iron Queen because she never accepted failure. Employees admired her intelligence but feared her perfectionism. Investors loved her results, while competitors respected her strength. She believed emotions only slowed people down, so she buried her own feelings beneath endless meetings, business deals, and ambitious goals. Her mansion grew bigger, her bank account grew larger, but her circle of true friends quietly became smaller every year without her even noticing. Everything changed one rainy evening when a speeding truck lost control and crashed into her car. Isabella survived, but the injuries to her spine left her permanently paralyzed. Overnight, the powerful executive who once walked confidently across boardrooms now depended on a wheelchair for every movement. Even more painful than losing her mobility was watching people slowly disappear from her life. Business partners suddenly became too busy to visit. Friends stopped calling. Distant relatives who once proudly claimed her as family found excuses to stay away. The company she had sacrificed everything for replaced her as CEO within months, thanking her for her service before moving forward without her. As her birthday approached, Isabella decided to believe that people still cared. She personally invited former colleagues, childhood friends, executives, investors, neighbors, and even extended family members. More than 100 invitations were sent. She imagined laughter filling the ballroom, heartfelt conversations, and perhaps a reminder that she had not been forgotten. Her staff prepared the finest dinner, musicians rehearsed beautiful melodies, and the chef spent 2 days creating the magnificent birthday cake. But one by one, excuses arrived. Some claimed urgent business meetings. Others blamed unexpected travel or family emergencies. Many simply ignored the invitation completely. Still, Isabella hoped someone would surprise her. She sat in the beautifully decorated ballroom wearing a hopeful smile that slowly faded with every passing minute. When the last staff member quietly left to give her privacy, tears finally rolled down her face. The expensive decorations suddenly looked meaningless. The luxury surrounding her felt colder than ever. She whispered to herself that perhaps people had only loved her success, never the woman behind it. Just as she reached toward the candle to extinguish it herself, the grand doors slowly opened. A tall man stepped inside carrying a simple black shopping bag. Beside him walked a teenage girl holding a tiny homemade birthday card. Their clothes were ordinary, nothing like the elegant guests Isabella had expected. The man was Daniel Brooks, a former maintenance supervisor who had worked at her company years ago before being laid off during one of Isabella's aggressive cost-cutting restructures. Daniel had every reason to hate her. Years earlier, losing his job had nearly destroyed his family. His wife became seriously ill, and he struggled to pay medical bills while raising his young daughter alone after his wife passed away. Yet despite everything, when Daniel accidentally learned through an old co-worker that Isabella would be spending her birthday alone, something inside him refused to ignore the news. He remembered seeing her in the hospital after the accident and realizing that suffering changes every human being, regardless of wealth or status. Inside the shopping bag was not an expensive gift but a homemade chocolate pie baked by his daughter Emily. The birthday card was decorated with colorful hand-drawn flowers and simple words that read, "Everyone deserves someone on their birthday." The sight of those words broke the walls Isabella had spent decades building around her heart. Daniel and Emily spent the evening with her, not because she was wealthy or powerful, but because no one should celebrate a birthday alone. They shared simple stories, laughed over childhood memories, and enjoyed homemade dessert beside the untouched luxury cake. For the first time in years, Isabella smiled without thinking about business, profits, or success. She smiled because someone had chosen kindness when they had every reason to choose resentment instead. That single evening transformed Isabella forever. Over the following months, she began looking at life differently. Instead of focusing on rebuilding her corporate empire, she focused on rebuilding lives. She established scholarships for children whose parents had lost jobs unexpectedly. She created rehabilitation centers for people living with paralysis. She launched programs helping injured workers find new careers. Most importantly, she personally met the people her foundation helped, listening to their stories instead of hiding behind boardroom tables. Daniel refused every offer of financial reward. He accepted only one request, to become director of Isabella's charitable foundation. Together, they built something far more meaningful than a billion-dollar company. They built hope. News of Isabella's transformation spread across the country. People who once admired her wealth now admired her compassion. Employees who had feared her leadership now respected her humility. Slowly, letters poured in from strangers thanking her for changing their lives. Ironically, the love she had searched for during her years of success finally arrived only after she learned to give it away freely. 1 year later, her next birthday looked completely different. The same ballroom overflowed with people. Families she had helped stood beside former employees. Children laughed as volunteers decorated the room with handmade banners instead of expensive ornaments. Wheelchair users from her rehabilitation center celebrated proudly beside her. Daniel and Emily stood at the front with the very first homemade birthday card, now framed as a reminder of the night that changed everything. This time, Isabella looked around the crowded room with tears in her eyes. She finally understood that loneliness isn't cured by wealth, power, or popularity. It is healed by genuine human kindness, forgiveness, and the courage to care for someone without expecting anything in return. If this story touched your heart, please write the words, "Kindness always wins," in the comments below. Your message could inspire someone else who desperately needs hope today. As the candles glowed warmly across the birthday cake, Isabella closed her eyes and made one final wish, not for more money, not for another company, and not even to walk again. She wished that every lonely person somewhere in the world would meet someone like Daniel before losing hope. Because sometimes, it only takes one caring heart to remind another person that they are not forgotten. And perhaps that is the greatest gift anyone can ever receive. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share this video with your loved ones, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind the world that compassion, forgiveness, and kindness can change lives forever.